Hello, everyone. Welcome to 嘰喳 Talk Show, episode 58. And today we have a very, very special guest. His name is Daniel Bruce Kelly. He's a person with many, many talents, and he has great interest in Chinese culture, Chinese art. So let's welcome Daniel.
Oh,
how are you doing?
Oh, good. 谢谢. 女士们、先生们、朋友们，大家下午好. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's such a pleasure to be here, and thank you so much just for interviewing us. I'm glad to be able to bridge the gap between cultures and bring that unity within our community.
Okay. Well, give us a little bit about your background, how you become interested in martial art, Chinese, and what you've been doing.
Well, actually, it started off when my family moved to Orange County. I actually grew up with a lot of Vietnamese, Korean, South Asian friends from India, you name it. And I was just always exposed to that culture. And it really intrigued me when I would go to the restaurants and I would see the characters, the Chinese characters, Vietnamese characters on the front of the restaurants. And I couldn't explain it, but it was just something that I wanted to pursue further. So when I got to college, I decided to pursue Mandarin Chinese. Go ahead.
Why Mandarin? Since you interested in many different Asian cultures, why specifically Mandarin?
Well, you know, it's funny. One of my friends, his dad, well, actually his grandfather, had suggested that I pursue Mandarin Chinese because I was really thinking about him. Like, there's so many Asian languages. It's like, which one do I pick? And he's like, well, brother, the Chinese are taking over, you know, and it'd be good for business. So the main reason initially was business.
Okay.
Yeah.
So were you interested in getting into business at that time?
Yes. I actually initially majored in international business. So that was the main goal, essentially. And then it branched out into everything else now.
Oh, okay, very good. So you started taking classes, language classes in college.
Yes.
And then you immerse yourself more into Chinese culture.
Exactly. So I ended up doing a study abroad trip to Taiwan. I'll never forget it. One of the best times of my life, you know. And I remember I was there for about a month, and I went to, I studied at Shilin Yesu, college in Taiwan, in Taipei. And I learned a lot, was definitely immersed. I was having conversations with the locals, and when I came back to the States, I actually started applying to Chinese restaurants.
Oh, interesting.
Yes.
So during your times in Taiwan, tell us something, what you learned, what was your initial reactions? And
so it's interesting because like most Americans, they never really hear about Taiwan. You know, they just know China. So I was open, but I didn't know too much. But I learned a lot about like the Aboriginal population. What is very interesting and unique is a lot of people don't realize that every year they have a celebration for the little black people of Taiwan, or the Negritos, or the Aboriginals from that area. And it's just, you have obviously the Han Chinese and, you know, different ethnic groups there, but it's amazing to see the Taiwanese population and their culture. It's because it's very unique and distinct.
Tell us some of your favorite things that you discover in Taiwan?
Oh man, well, I mean, I didn't realize that boba comes from Taiwan. You know, one of the most well-known drinks is originally Taiwanese. So I mean, the first time I went was for a study abroad trip, and the second time I went was for a missionary trip, and that's where I learned a lot more about the culture. So I actually did a lot of missionary work. We went to halfway houses, prisons. We went to schools, and we taught the kids English by way of the Bible. And, you know, I found them kind of more like country. At least the parts that I went to in Taiwan, they were more country folk, not as much city activity, unless you were in, obviously, Taipei. But just very like, kind of like the heart of Asia. They had like a campaign years ago where they called Taiwan the heart of Asia because of where it's centrally located in Asia.
Okay, so you, what city do you go to? Obviously, you went to Taipei. What other city?
I went to Hualien, Taidong, and some other ones. Wangji, I forget.
Okay, very good. So, how do you get into martial arts?
Man, that's a whole story. About 10 years ago, my mentor had prophesied to me. He prayed for me, and he told me that I was going to do martial arts. I was very shocked because never considered martial arts, never thought about it. Was always in the Asian culture, but for some reason, martial arts was not a priority of mine. And he said, brother, God's going to bless you to do martial arts. You're going to be like a Jean-Claude Van Damme. And I'm like, okay, that's unique. At that time, to be honest, I don't want to offend anyone, but I didn't know who Jean-Claude Van Damme was because I'm a different generation.
So who is he?
Yeah, I mean, he's a famous movie star, martial artist. I mean, famous for the splits, and his kicks and everything. So I actually ended up meeting him. I forgot how long ago it was, but that was an experience in itself. But yeah, that's basically kind of how it started. And I went to a party that happened to be all martial artists. And I'm like, okay, this is very interesting. So I met these two people at that party, Master Lady Lelaine Reed and Master David Reed. And they invited me to a martial arts parade in Riverside. Never been to a martial arts parade or anything like that. So they said, hey, would you like to come with us to this parade tomorrow? I'm like, sure, I'm open. So I'm literally walking with them in this parade. Chinese drums, boom, 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 I mean, just information overload. It's like a whole new world. And I remember at the very end of the parade, and I was walking with them in the parade, by the way, right? So it's different just being an outsider, but you're walking in it. That's an experience in itself. Because they asked me, they said, do you know any tricks? Because sometimes we want to put on a show for the crowd. And I'm like, well, I don't do the splits. Well, actually, no, I could do the splits. So I did the splits and whatever things that I knew to do as a dancer previous. And at the very end of that parade, they asked me if I wanted to train with them. I'm like, wow, God, you are real. This is crazy. So I started training with them, and now I'm a black belt in Tong Soo Do.
Oh, okay. How many styles have you learned?
Multiple. Let's see. Tong Soo Do. Tong Soo Do is known as Korean karate, and that's multiple martial arts in itself. There's Shaolin Kung Fu, Shotokan karate, and we also learn other styles. So Wei Kune Do, Jeet Kune Do, Tai Chi, multiple staff form, and weapons, of course. You know, I know how to use nunchuckus. There's probably some other ones that I know how to do, but I can't remember right now. I know a little bit of Muay Thai. I'm actually studying Jiu-Jitsu also, and I compete in that.
So you are multidisciplined in martial art.
Yeah. I'm shocked, but I love it so much. You know, it's amazing to me that they all kind of go back to this same time period. Well, different time periods, but similar areas. Mm-hmm. You go back far enough. Most martial arts come from China, right? And then before China was India. You know, so movement is movement.
Right. And so is it because your practice of martial art, you got into acting? How does that relate?
You know, it's so funny, brother. I actually was an actor way before I even thought about doing martial arts. At the age of 17, I started off acting in Burbank, California. So I would drive from Orange County to Burbank every single week for my acting classes. And I've had various agents, you know, managers. So about that time period, acting, dancing.
So you practice martial art, you do acting, and you sing.
Yes. 你问我爱你有多深，我爱你有几分. Yes, I sing a little bit. That's actually a famous song by Teresa Teng. She was a very famous Taiwanese singer. And I do a little bit of singing, and yes, I love it. I've done musical theater, so I've done singing, dancing, acting combination. And then I've also performed at different venues for singing, dancing, rapping also. All things to all people, all nations, backgrounds co-equal. That's the beauty of the God we serve. You can be black, Asian, Hispanic, have you heard? Even though our cultures can divide us, we can unite and let the Spirit guide us to the truth of our Jehovah Jireh, the world's one true Messiah. Pray, ask, and you'll see how God's kingdom is supposed to be. One king, one faith, one people. So on the wings like American bald eagles, we shall run and not grow weary, for Christ is our vision. Look clearly. Look clearly. So I do different things, yeah.
Apparently, looks like it. And so you have a lot of all these influences in you, a confluence of different cultures and a lot of your interests, creativities, and now you're merging that with your faith.
Correct.
Tell us how that's working out.
Man, I love it, brother. I was never into God like that until I went through some really humbling moments in my life. I remember I ended up dropping out of school. You know, I remember I went through just really tough times, even with my family, things I can't even describe, you know, on camera. And it opened me up to want to seek God. And when I started pursuing him, you know, he really revealed himself to me. And I started mixing my faith with God in my arts and entertainment. And it actually has become more powerful. You know, so when I perform at different venues, I'll usually open up with prayer. And there'll be times where I'll prophesy in the middle of my performance. I have a nonprofit organization called the Real Prayer Movement. It's an international prayer line where people call in from all around the world, Asia, Africa, South America, and we do life together also. And we had a performance. We have a music group called RPM Music Group, and we performed at a mansion in San Gabriel Valley, and it was all Chinese, Taiwanese, and we did our thing. It was spoken word, rapping, singing, dancing, but in the middle of the performance, we would prophesy to the people. Mm-hmm. And the people were very touched, because the only way that we would know these things about their life is if the Spirit of God revealed it to us. So it's kind of like God pulling at your heartstrings. It's not just a performance, but an experience.
Mm-hmm. And because your faith, how does that help you overcome certain obstacles, and then do you have advice for people that how to deal with hardship in life?
Absolutely, brother. Man, our quality of life is always dependent on how much faith we have, right? Everyone has faith. Some people have faith in themselves, and some people have faith in the Creator. Mm-hmm. Prayer is the most powerful thing that we could ever do in our lifetime, but it's the least utilized. A lot of problems you see happening in the world today, COVID-19, wars, so on and so forth, mm-hmm. would change if we had supernatural assistance. See, many times we try to do things on our own as a society, and don't get me wrong, we have great technology nowadays, and very modern society. We're learning, we're growing, mm-hmm. but we serve a God of all possibilities that can heal the blind, heal the sick, raise the dead, multiply manna and fish, feed 5,000 people. I actually found God at a Chinese church.
Really?
Yeah. They really opened up my eyes to see God in a different way that I didn't know before. They told me years ago, they said, Daniel, in the Chinese language, there's biblical stories told in the language. I'm like, what do you mean? He said, yeah, just think about a simple word like lai, which means to come. Mm-hmm. In that character, you have a big person on a cross, mm-hmm. and two little people next to big person on a cross. Mm-hmm. And so many characters in the Chinese language that it almost looks like it was taken directly out of Genesis. Mm-hmm. And this language is much older than formal Christianity, much older than Buddhism, Taoism, all the major world religions. Mm-hmm. And this is, so yes, it's amazing the types of experiences I've had with the Chinese, mm-hmm. and many of them having, grown up Buddhist, but had some sort of supernatural encounter, where Jesus visited them in a dream or vision, and they knew what the truth was.
Okay, that's very good. So going forward, are you going to be doing a lot of gospel, spreading the news?
Oh, absolutely, brother. We're doing that now. So about 6 days a week, multiple times a day, I host that prayer line. It's called the Real Prayer Movement. And obviously, if anyone would like the information for that, just let me know.
Why don't you tell us right now how to contact you for that?
So you can reach out to me. My phone number is, I'll just give you my direct line and just leave a voicemail. It's 516-647-0354. I'm a very personal person. Like I love people. I typically wouldn't give someone my number unless, I could trust them and be open with them. So feel free to reach out. Let's talk about it. If you have something going on in your life that, you need help with, we'll be here for you. So yes, we do it all the time. So we have the prayer lines. We have a 24-hour prayer.
Really?
Happening every 24th of every month.
Oh.
So we really open up heaven for 24 hours straight. And we really are serious about our relationship with him. There's times where we get invited to different churches and communities to speak. I've spoken here on the West Coast, on the East Coast, in churches, businesses, homes, film productions. I've even spoken in Dubai, did some ministry out there. You know, God can be anywhere.
Indeed, yeah. Sounds very interesting. So, has this taken you anywhere, place in life, location-wise or spiritually?
Absolutely. I mean, even my trip to Dubai, that was something. Years ago, my mentor had also prophesied to me. He said, Daniel, you're going to go to Dubai and you're going to shoot Bollywood films. I'm like, I don't know anything about Bollywood films, you know, but I'm open.
Right.
So I remember it ended up happening. Somebody on the prayer line ended up inviting me to work on a film with them in Dubai. And it was a Bollywood film. More specifically, Telugu. Telugu is a little bit different than Bollywood, but still India. So I was out there, and I had the time of my life. Worked with famous actor, famous Telugu actor Mahesh Babu, and we ended up praying on set. We would pray on the way to set. And it was just beautiful, you know, being able to do acting, stunt work, incorporate the prayer in the production. And a lot of people were blessed.
Very good, very good. So now, are you professionally? Are you doing more acting? Which way are you heading towards? What's next for you in terms of your career-wise?
Yes, I'd say it's acting. To me, acting, it incorporates multiple things. It's not just, as an actor, you can be a singer, you can be a dancer, you can be anything, right? An astronaut. So it would be my acting. You know, I know God's blessing me to be that movie star, and you know, one day you'll see this video and you'll be like, yeah, he spoke it. He prophesied that. And now he's everywhere on all the billboards and everything. So yes, being a movie star, and I have bigger dreams as well. I want to get my PhD, maybe one day even potentially run for president. I got some great ideas, and even with my nonprofit organization, we want to have our own, what I like to call kingdom communities. We want to have our own banks, grocery stores, real estate, build a community where, you know, sure, if we need government's help, that'd be great. But basically a community that's independent, that there's no lack among the people, right? Everyone is provided for.
Wow, the big dreams.
Oh yeah, you gotta dream big.
So you're writing up your plan right now?
Oh shoot, I've been written it up. I mean, we're walking it out right now, even within the prayer movement. We have a lot of great leaders in my nonprofit organization, and I'll be going to New York to visit them, visit the New York people this July 4th weekend, and then I'll be going to Kenya later to meet with our Kenyan people. That'll be in August.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
Thank you. Praise God.
Well, there you have it. Daniel Bruce Kelly is man of action and man of God, obviously. And he has big dreams and big plans. And I wish you all the luck, and hopefully your dream will come true pretty soon.
Thank you so much, brother.
You're welcome. So there you have it. We have a wonderful person here for Daniel Bruce Kelly, and we'll see you next episode.